You were born into this life not by mistake, nor by random chance. You are here, now, not because the world demanded your presence, but because life, in its infinite unfolding, offered you this breath, this very moment, as a sacred invitation. An invitation to wake up. Most people live as if they will never die, and die having never truly lived. They chase moments that are already gone, and they fear moments that have yet to arrive. But the Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. So I ask you, where is your mind now? Where is your breath? What are you giving your life to? You see, every second you spend angry, bitter, resentful, or distracted is a second of your life lost. A sacred grain of time slipping through fingers that were meant to hold awareness, not regret. You must come to understand your time is not guaranteed. Your body is borrowed, and your freedom, your awakening, it depends on your willingness to be here completely. Buddhist wisdom does not whisper. It strikes like a bell in the silence of your soul. You are not your name. You are not your job. You are not your social status. These are passing waves upon the ocean of your being. You are awareness itself. When you close your eyes and look inward, you do not see a label. You see stillness. You feel presence. That is who you are. And this life, fleeting, unpredictable, mysterious, is your only chance to remember it. So don't waste this life. Don't waste it in anger. Don't waste it in fear. Don't waste it waiting for someone else to validate your worth. If you want to know peace, you must walk the path yourself. If you want to awaken, you must be willing to sit with your pain, your truth, your emptiness, until it teaches you the way, and the way begins with how you think. Your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are seed, and whatever you plant in the garden of your mind will grow roots in your actions, in your words, in your destiny. The Buddha said, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. If you think in fear, your life will shrink. If you think in kindness, your life will expand. So guard your mind as you would a sacred flame. Do not feed it with poison. Do not let it wander without awareness. Train it, still it, invite it to rest in clarity, not confusion. And beyond thought lies belief. Belief is the soil from which your life grows. Most people carry beliefs like wounds, stories of unworthiness, of scarcity, of failure passed down by those who are also hurting. But you can choose again. You can believe that life is happening for you, not to you. You can believe that love is always available, that joy is your nature, that peace is possible. And when you believe deeply enough, your world begins to reflect it. That reflection is not magic. It is law. It is cause and effect. It is karma. The seeds you plant in your mind, in your heart, in your daily actions, they echo, they return. They shape not just this life, but the lives that come after. The Buddha said, just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life. So cultivate your inner world with care. Your future begins now, and to see clearly, you must see with wisdom, not knowledge, not cleverness, but clear seeing. This is what we call right view. Right view means understanding that everything is impermanent, that clinging creates suffering, that freedom is not having more, but needing less. When you see clearly, you stop chasing things that decay. You stop building your identity around things that die. You begin to align your life with what cannot be taken from you. Virtue, clarity, compassion, and you gain vision. A true vision, one that is not clouded by ego or opinion or distraction, one that cuts through illusion like a blade. With vision comes purpose. Your purpose is not something you find in the future. It is what you choose to live in this moment. When you eat, eat with gratitude. When you walk, walk with presence. When you speak, speak with honesty and compassion. This is your purpose, to live this moment so completely that nothing of it remains unlived. And to live with purpose, you must cultivate discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is devotion. It is choosing the hard path when the easy one leads to numbness. It is waking up early to sit in silence, even when no one applauds you. It is returning to the breath again and again and again, not because it's easy, but because it matters. Discipline is love in action. It says, I am not here to waste this life. And from discipline flows action. Action is karma in motion. Every gesture, every choice, every moment of kindness or cruelty, these shape the world. So be mindful of your footsteps. Let your presence be a blessing, not a burden. Let your words lift, not wound. Let your eyes see the suffering in others and respond with compassion. Because in the end, it is not what you had that will matter. It is how you moved through the world. And as you move, carry gratitude. Gratitude is not a reaction. It is a way of seeing. To look at the ordinary and recognize it as miraculous. To see the breath as a gift. To see each sunrise as a chance to begin again. Gratitude turns what we have into enough, and more than enough. It turns this life, this fleeting, fragile, beautiful life, into sacred ground, even in suffering, especially in suffering, because suffering too is a teacher. It cracks the shell of ego. It reveals what you truly value. It humbles. It burns away illusion. And in its ashes, something new grows: resilience. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the willingness to stand inside it without turning away. It is the strength to smile while grieving, to keep walking while aching, to trust that this too belongs. This too will pass. This too can be used for awakening. And from resilience comes learning. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to grow, to fall, to rise, to fall again. And in the falling, you learn not just about pain, but about grace. You learn that nothing real can be threatened. You learn that the heart can break and still open wider. And in that opening, you find the truth. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your story. You are awareness. You are presence. You are life itself, awake and watching. And so I ask you, again, what will you do with this life? Will you spend it in numbness, scrolling through the shadows of other people's dreams? Will you wait for permission to live? Will you trade your soul for comfort? Or will you rise? Will you live as if you might die tomorrow? Because one day, you will. And on that day, may you look back with peace, not regret. May you say, with a steady heart, I did not waste it. You did not come into this life to be small. You were not born to blend in, to repeat, to live on autopilot. You were not meant to be a bystander in your own story. Somewhere within you, there is a quiet knowing, a voice that has whispered since childhood. There is more than this, more than the noise, more than the distractions, more than chasing things that fade. The Buddha did not offer us a religion. He offered us a way to wake up, to see clearly, to suffer less, to stop mistaking the waves of life for the ocean of being, to stop clinging to that which always changes and root ourselves in what never does. And what never changes is this: your capacity to be fully here. You have within you the power to be present, in joy, in sorrow, in silence, in chaos. No matter your past, no matter your fears, presence is always one breath away. And this presence, it changes everything. It turns a meal into a meditation, a walk into a pilgrimage, a conversation into connection. It turns this ordinary moment into holy ground. But presence requires courage, because to be truly present means to stop escaping. It means facing yourself. It means feeling fully, without turning away. And that is not easy, because you have been taught to run from pain, from boredom, from stillness, even from joy. You have been conditioned to numb, to scroll, to plan, to fix, to distract. But the awakened path is not about adding more. It is about subtracting what no longer serves. You do not need to become something new. You need to return to what is real, to what has always been real. This is why we meditate, not to become better, but to remember what we truly are. In the stillness, we meet ourselves. We see the mind for what it is: a storyteller, a projector, a restless companion that fears silence, because silence exposes the truth. And what is the truth? That you are not your thoughts, that you are not broken, that beneath all the stories, all the wounds, all the masks, you are whole. You are awareness itself, temporarily wearing the costume of a human life, and that life, it is passing quickly. The Buddha said, "The trouble is, you think you have time. You do not. You do not have time to stay angry. You do not have time to wait for things to be perfect. You do not have time to compare, to compete, to chase validation. You do not have time to abandon yourself just to be liked by others who have also abandoned themselves. What you do have is this breath, this moment, this choice. So breathe as if it were your last. Walk as if the earth were sacred. Speak as if every word were a prayer. Live as if this day were your only day. Because one day you will be right. And the way you live today becomes your legacy. Not in monuments, not in medals, but in memories, in the way your presence touched others, in the kindness you gave, in the forgiveness you offered, in the truth you stood in even when your voice shook. That is a noble life. That is a mindful life. That is a life worth living. And if you want to live like that, you must practice, not occasionally but daily, not perfectly but sincerely. Because transformation does not come from knowing, it comes from doing, from showing up to yourself again and again, from bowing to the silence, from taking full responsibility for your inner world. This is the true meaning of spiritual practice. It is not about escaping the world. It is about embracing it fully, with open eyes and an open heart. And yes, you will get tired. Yes, you will fall back into old habits. Yes, you will forget. But that is why we have the breath. It is a reminder that every moment is a return, that every moment is an invitation to begin again. So begin again. No matter how far you think you've strayed, no matter how heavy your regrets, no matter how many times you've broken promises to yourself, the path is always here waiting, quiet, steady, patient. And with each step, the burden becomes lighter, because you are no longer carrying the illusion. You are walking in truth. And the truth is this: life is uncertain, the body is fragile, the mind is wild, but the heart, when trained, can hold it all. It can hold pain without becoming bitter. It can hold loss without closing. It can hold joy without clinging. It can become vast enough to include the entire world. And this too is the way of the Buddha, to live not just for yourself, but for all beings. Do not let this moment slip away in forgetfulness. Let it burn in your memory, not as something to fear, but as something to treasure. Because within every breath, there is a chance to change the direction of your life completely. A single breath of full awareness has more power than 1,000 moments of unconscious drifting. And you have that breath. Right now, feel it. It is not ordinary, it is not automatic. It is life saying, "I am not done with you yet." It is the universe whispering, "Come back, come home, come alive." Most people think awakening is far away, that they must travel through lifetimes, climb invisible ladders, earn it through suffering. But the truth is far more simple and far more radical. Awakening is here. It is now. and it belongs to anyone willing to fully show up for reality, not your idea of reality, not your expectations, but reality as it is, right here, in the sound of the wind, in the rising of your chest, in the silence between words, in the sacred ordinariness of this moment. This is where truth lives. But truth is uncomfortable. It demands the death of illusions. It asks you to surrender your stories of who you think you are. It calls you out of your small self, out of your anxieties, your pride, your attachments, and into the wide open unknown. This is not easy, but it is necessary, because every day you cling to what is false. You delay your freedom. Every day you delay your freedom. You reinforce your suffering. And suffering, left unchecked, becomes identity. It becomes normal. It becomes home. So we must question everything. Everything that keeps us small. Everything that numbs us. Everything that makes us forget our original face. The Buddha never said, "Believe me." He said, "See for yourself. Look deeply. Is your anger bringing you peace? Is your striving bringing you joy? Is your anxiety protecting you or paralyzing you? Is the version of you you're projecting into the world the same one who cries alone in the dark?" These are not easy questions, but they are liberating ones, because when you strip away what is not true, what remains is pure, what remains is real, and the real you is not afraid. The real you is not chasing anything. The real you does not need to prove, to impress, to dominate, or to escape. The real you just is, peaceful, present, awake. But you must train yourself to see it. You must practice, again and again, even when it feels pointless, even when nothing changes, because something is always changing. You are changing. In the silence, your roots grow deeper. In the stillness, your clarity sharpens. In the presence, your heart softens. And eventually you begin to live differently. You begin to walk more slowly, speak more gently, listen more deep. You begin to care less about being right and more about being kind. You begin to forgive, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You begin to measure success, not by achievement, but by alignment. And when the world shouts more, you bow to simplicity. This is the quiet revolution of mindfulness. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't chase followers. It doesn't need attention, but it changes everything. It is the revolution that ends war inside your own mind. Because when the war within ends, the war without cannot survive. When you meet your own suffering with compassion, you begin to see others through the same eyes. You realize that everyone is carrying something heavy, that behind every harsh word is pain, that behind every mask is fear, that every human being is trying to be okay. And so you soften, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom, because you no longer need to defend what doesn't need defending. You no longer fight battles that don't matter. You no longer chase love. You become it. And this is where the journey takes us, not to becoming better than others, but to remembering we were never separate. We are the same. One breath, one consciousness, one unfolding. This is what the Buddha saw under the Bodhi tree. Not a doctrine, not a dogma, but the direct experience of unity. He saw that suffering arises from separation, from the illusion of me and mine. And he saw that when this illusion drops away, peace arises naturally. That is the goal of the path, not enlightenment as a concept, but liberation as a lived reality. Liberation from what? From the need to be anything other than what you are, from the hunger for more, from the fear of loss, from the compulsion to control, from the prison of self-image. When you are free, you do not stop acting. You act with more power. You do not stop speaking. You speak with more love. You do not stop feeling. You feel with more clarity. Freedom is not the end of life. It is the beginning. It is the rebirth into what has always been true, that you are not a fragment, you are the whole, and the whole, as always, at peace. So live from that peace. Let it guide you, let it shape your decisions, let it show you what to let go of and what to move toward, because every day, life is asking you a question, not with words, with reality, and the question is this: are you awake? Are you awake to the suffering in others? Are you awake to the gift of your body? Are you awake to the patterns you are repeating? Are you awake to the preciousness of this breath? Because this breath, this body, this life, it will end. No matter how many vitamins you take, no matter how many goals you achieve, no matter how much you are loved, it will end. And all that will remain is how you lived. Did you live with integrity? Did you live with presence? Did you live with compassion? Or did you sleepwalk through it all, only to wake up when it was too late? Please, don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until the diagnosis. Don't wait until the betrayal. Don't wait until the deathbed. Wake up now. Now is the only time that exists. Now is the only chance you have. Now is sacred, and it is asking for your attention. So give it, not because you have to, but because you're tired of missing your life, tired of being elsewhere, tired of trying to get somewhere that never satisfies. Just be here. This is the whole teaching. Be here with your pain, with your joy, with your confusion, with your breath. Let the moment hold you. Let your heart open. Let life live through you without resistance. And as you do, something amazing happens. You begin to feel free. Not free because the world changed, free because you did. And from that freedom, everything becomes possible. And what becomes possible is not a grand spectacle. It's not fireworks or miracles or some cosmic transformation painted in gold. What becomes possible is this: peace in the middle of a storm, a soft smile after a long cry, a heart that stays open even when it's breaking. You begin to understand that awakening is not an escape from life, but a deeper entrance into it. You stop trying to bypass discomfort. You stop bargaining with reality. You stop needing everything to go your way. You simply begin to be with what is, and that, being fully with what is the most radical act of all. Because the world has taught you to run, to fix, to optimize, to control, to manage, to hide. But life, real life, asks you to stay, to breathe with what hurts, to sit with the silence that makes your skin crawl, to witness the passing of things you once loved, and love anyway, to hold the tension between not knowing and trusting. This is the path of the Bodhisattva, not someone who floats above the world, but someone who walks within it with eyes wide open and heart unguarded. It is not about becoming someone holy. It is about becoming fully human. So human, in fact, that your compassion cannot help but reach even those who once hurt you. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Because when you stop holding grudges, your hands are free to hold something better. When you stop rehearsing pain, your mind is free to rest. When you stop fighting what already happened, you can finally arrive. And when you arrive, really arrive, you realize everything you were chasing was already here. Love was here. Joy was here. Safety was here. The only thing missing was your attention. So don't miss it again. Don't let the next hour vanish while you scroll for meaning in someone else's life. Don't let this day pass in autopilot, reacting, distracting, forgetting. And if you do, come back, gently, softly, immediately. Return to the breath, to the body, to the beating heart that still believes in something sacred. And in that return, let go of who you think you have to be. Let go of the tightness in your jaw, your chest, your expectations. Let go of chasing a future version of yourself that does not exist. Just be the version of you who is here, alive, flawed, breathing. Enough, because until you see yourself as worthy of this moment, you will always be searching. You will always be hustling for a sense of home that already lives in your chest. And that home, it's quiet. It's humble. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. It just needs you to stop running. You don't need to be enlightened to live wisely. You don't need to be healed to begin. You don't need to have it all figured out to take the next step. You just need to begin with begin with one breath of full awareness, one act of forgiveness, one moment of telling yourself the truth, that you are tired of being asleep, that you are ready to feel, that you are ready to see clearly, even if it hurts. And yes, the truth may hurt at first, but it is the kind of hurt that heals, the kind that burns away what is false, the kind that makes space for something beautiful to be born. And something will be born in you, something ancient, something tender, something free. It will not come in thunder or drama. It will come in the way you walk across the room, the way you hold silence in a conversation, the way your hands tremble when they touch what is real, the way you smile at a stranger, not because you're supposed to, but because you remember there is no moment unworthy of presence. There is no breath that doesn't belong to awakening. There is no step too small to begin again. And every time you begin again, the universe bows in recognition, because to begin again is the most courageous thing a human being can do. And you, right now, you are beginning again. In this listening, in this stillness, in this surrender, you are not broken. You are being reshaped, not by force, but by grace, not by striving, but by softening. And grace has its own rhythm. It doesn't rush, it doesn't shout, it waits for you to be quiet enough to hear it. And when you do, when you finally feel it, you will wonder why you ever doubted, why you ever rushed, why you ever begged life to be different than it was. Because you will see, nothing was ever missing. Everything belonged, even the pain, even the silence, even the waiting. It was all part of the unfolding, all part of the sacred return to what has always been true. And the truth, you were never separate, you were never alone, you were never without light, you were just asleep. And now, you are waking up, not suddenly, not perfectly, but surely, and steadily, and fully. You are waking up, and with every breath that follows, may you remember this, that your life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. That your presence is enough, that your breath is holy, that your very existence is a miracle. So live like it. Live like this moment is sacred. Live like your love matters. Live like your voice could soften even the hardest hearts. Live like your time is limited, because live like you will die tomorrow so that you may finally live today. Live not in fear of the end, but in honor of the gift. This gift, this life, this fleeting, burning, brilliant, beautiful life. Don't waste it. And if you must hold on to something, let it be this, that you were given this life not to conquer the world, but to understand it. Not to escape suffering, but to transform through it. Not to chase immortality, but to awaken immortality's shadow. You were not placed here to repeat what has already been done. You are here to walk your own path, to carry the flame of awareness into the forgotten corners of your own heart. And yes, that path will be lonely sometimes. You will outgrow old versions of yourself. You will say goodbye to people who no longer match your rhythm. You will feel the ache of emptiness as you peel away the layers of false comfort. But do not mistake emptiness for absence. It is not a void. It is a clearing, a space where something true can finally be heard. And what you hear may not be loud. It may not be poetic. It may not be what you wanted, but it will be real. It will be the voice you've been silencing for years. It will be the part of you that never gave up, The part that still believes in love after heartbreak. The part that still whispers thank you after loss. The part that kneels not in defeat but in reverence, because this life is sacred. Every part of it, even the parts you wish you could erase, even the chapters that ended before they began, even the wounds that never fully healed, they are all part of the Dharma, the great unfolding. And if you are awake, truly awake, you begin to see that nothing is wasted, not a moment, not a tear, not a single breath. Everything you've lived has led you here, to this pause, this breath, this remembrance. So let this be your vow, that you will no longer sleepwalk through your life, that you will no longer postpone your joy, that you will no longer look outside for the peace that only blooms within. Let this be the moment you return. Return to your breath, return to your body, return to the vast stillness beneath your thoughts. Let this be the moment you stop surviving and begin living, fully, boldly, softly. Let this be the moment you forgive yourself for all the times you forgot how beautiful you are. Let this be the moment you look in the mirror, not to judge, but to bow, because that face, that body, that trembling soul, they've carried you through so much, and they are still here, still breathing, still hoping, still capable of love. So love like it's the only thing that ever mattered, because in the end, it is. When all the striving ends, when all the roles fall away, when the last breath leaves your chest, you will not ask, did I win? You will ask, did I live? Did I taste the sunlight on my tongue? Did I say the words I meant? Did I soften when I could have hardened? Did I open when I could have shut down? Did I hold someone's hand when they were afraid? Did I let them hold mine? Did I let this life break me open, or did I hide? And when the answer comes, may it bring tears not of regret, but of gratitude. Gratitude that you woke up, gratitude that you listened, gratitude that you didn't wait until tomorrow, because you knew tomorrow is not promised, but this breath is, and this breath is enough. It is enough to begin. It is enough to return. It is enough to live with your whole heart. So live. Live not someday, not when it's easier, not when it's perfect. Live now. Live because your soul is asking for it. Live because the world needs your light. Live because you were born for this, not for the applause, not for the applausees, not for the story they tell about you when you're gone, but for the sacred miracle of presence. This is the invitation. This is the path. This is the teaching. And now, it is yours. Take it, walk it, live it. Don't waste this life. Live as if you'll die tomorrow, because one day you will. And may that knowing awaken you, not into fear, but into freedom.